Today, I want to talk about sunflowers. Now, lucky for us, sunflowers is something you can often see on the flower stalls now and in the supermarkets, and relatively cheap. But some people struggle with them because they look like they fade quickly, or not quite sure what to do with them. So here we go, here's a few tips. First of all, quite deep water. And lukewarm water is a good idea, apparently. That's probably because they're grown in the south of France and they just like the heat. So into the water, I'm going to put my plant food. If you don't have plant food, and this is something I just read, that they quite like a little bit of vodka or a little bit of bleach or a little teaspoon of sugar. There you go. The other thing they like, well, often, actually not in this case particularly, but sometimes the leaves are a bit damaged or very big, and I think sometimes that detracts from the flower itself to give the strength for the flower to last longer. So maybe discard a few of the leaves and use other leaves instead. And the last tip is to cut on an angle. So cut on an angle, and that gives more surface for the water to go up, giving us a longer life. So there you go, a few tips on those. So this morning on my little walk down the hedgerow, I'm always looking to see what I can use, because that's what makes the flowers look special. That's what makes it look like the 15th of June. It's all about nature. So try not to go to a flower store or the supermarket and always buy the same thing. Try and look around and think, what's looking good today? You know, what is the freshest? What is what's catching my eye? And use it. And then you don't get bored. It's no good going to the supermarket and always buying a bunch of lilies. Buy something else. Anyway, so today I spotted some lovely dogwood. And you'll know dogwood because it's often around in the winter when it's just literally red sticks. You know, those sort of bushes that are just red sticks and quite ornamental. But in the summer, it's got rather lovely foliage and a slight bit of a bloom on it, like a buried bloom. And I think they're absolutely lovely. And it was free because it was in the hedgerow, and it didn't really matter if I took a little bit, I don't think it did. And it's not going to hurt the bush at all, and there was tons of it. I'm very lucky, I live near a very big estate, and the gardener is all very happy for me to come and help him prune his bushes because he's got too much to do. So here we go. I'm going to add to these sunflowers with some lovely foliage. Now I've got myself a lovely vase, a deep vase. Now, another trick. If you're buying them in the supermarket, they're probably not as tall as that. And I can see that that's probably going to be the right size for this vase. But if you had a big vase and they were a bit like this, it's not going to look so good. So you know the cellophane that comes around the packaging? Scrunch it up, stuff it into the bottom of your vase, and it lifts the flowers to the right height that you'll need. Another little tip. I don't charge extra for that. Okay, I'm going to cut my foliage on an angle, and I'm going to fill my lovely big vase. Now I'm just going to take off anything underneath the water line. Oh, this is lovely stuff. It doesn't need much doing to it at all. But if it did have any broken stems or broken leaves or yellowing leaves, I'd take them off. But it really doesn't. So very quickly, that has given my vase a real boost. And I don't know if you're getting a grip of this now, but I'm all for keeping it simple. Don't complicate matters. You don't have to throw lots of different varieties in. Keep it simple. So I'm going to start building, and I'm going to thread through my foliage. These wonderful, and I'll start with the slightly shorter ones, because you're bound to have a few shorter ones in the bunch, and make that the ones that I put around the edge. Looking at the leaves, cutting off any leaves that are rubbish. I'm going to choose all the short ones first. I'm cutting a couple of inches off, so I get a lovely, once again, that circle around. And these taller ones I'm going to use for the centre. Oh, it's a shame. I could do them a little smidge taller, but I think you'll be able to see the effect that I'm going for. Always hard on camera to really do it as best as I can. There you go. So I've got 10 stems. I think they probably come in bunches of 5, so treat yourself to a couple of bunches. And there you go. Now, I don't know what it's looking like from your way, but I think that one could do turning around a little bit. Maybe take a little bit out of that one and make it a little bit lower so we can see the others in all their glory. How's that? Sunflowers, cheap as chips, but looking great.